Good afternoon, Facebook. Thank you for coming to our live Facebook stream to get to know our Autism Solutions staff a little bit better. My name is Jim Moore. I'm the Director of Autism Solutions for Canopy Children's Solutions. And I'm so excited to let you meet just a couple of the outstanding folks that work with our children in the Center of Excellence here in Jackson, Mississippi. Just for those of you who may not know very much about applied behavior analysis and what we do here at Canopy, we provide something called comprehensive ABA services, which is for the most part one-on-one intensive therapy for up to 40 hours per week. This is not exactly the same, but if you think about a pediatrician's office where you have your doctor and then nurses, technicians that may take the labs, ABA is delivered in somewhat of a similar fashion. We have a doctor or our quality healthcare provider, which is called a board certified behavior analyst, which must be licensed as a behavior analyst here in Mississippi by the board that oversees the practice of behavior analysis. And then that behavior analyst will have a number of registered behavior technicians working under them, actually delivering the therapy for the most part under the close supervision of the board certified behavior analyst. Here at Canopy, that very vital position of a registered behavior technician is what we call a behavior technician. And we hire those folks full-time, provide them benefits, try to take really good care of them because they provide such a vital service, delivering up to 30 hours per week of intensive therapy with children with autism who most of the time, because of the young age of clients we take here at Canopy, often when they come in, they're not speaking. They may be engaging in some levels of problem behavior, screaming, pinching, hitting, biting, all sorts of things. So we have to have really passionate, outstanding, patient people in this very, very vital role. And I just really, if I were a parent of a child with autism, thinking about putting my child into the care of someone for up to 30 to 40 hours a week, I'd want to know a little bit about what type of people those are. So today I wanted to introduce you to a couple of our outstanding and fairly new behavior technicians, and then we're about to see how technologically savvy I am. I'm going to try and pull them up right now. And here they come. We have Amber and Brittany from our Center of Excellence. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear us?
Awesome. I can. Well, thank you so much for taking your lunch break. I see neither one of you took my advice to bring your lunch with you. I didn't eat. I'll eat afterwards. But I'm really thankful that you would take the time and let families who might be considering not just Canopy, but applied behavior analysis. Because if a family were to find a clinic anywhere else in Mississippi or anywhere else in the world and they're considering ABA, they're going to find hopefully a similar approach. So why don't you guys start? Why don't we start with you, Amber? Just tell us about yourself, who you are, where you're from, and maybe something interesting about you.
Oh, this sounds like a class discussion again. I am from Mobile, Alabama. Went to school in Birmingham, and then my husband got a job here, so now I'm here in No, I'm not in Birmingham anymore. I'm here in Jackson. I am majoring in marketing, and I have like 5 animals. I have 4 guinea pigs and a cat.
Wow, good gracious.
Yeah, I like animals.
Oh, I do too. I have 5 dogs and 3 cats. It's crazy.
It's a kitten too. He's really active. I have like 5 scratches on my hands.
Yeah, she's been talking about that a lot.
Well, Brittany, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, well, my name is Brittany Downs. I'm an Army brat, so I've lived a little bit of everywhere, but I currently live, of course, here in Jackson, Mississippi. I'm a proud graduate of the University of Alabama, Roll Tide, but I'm also enrolled in graduate school right now through LSU online. So that's what I'm doing currently. In my free time, I enjoy playing The Sims. It's very therapeutic for me to be able to live my life through
a virtual world.
Yes, a virtual world. And so that's what I like to do in my free time. I have no pets. Never had a pet before.
You should
I had a fish one time, but then my sister's finished, like, trying to know my kids.
I've never played Sims before, but my daughter was telling me the other day I play Homescapes.
Yeah.
It's like Sims meets Candy Crush. I don't know if that's true or not.
I didn't see that from the ads that always pop up on my games.
I like to build the house the way I want it, but then you got to play all these puzzles to earn coins to build your. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Well, great. Well, Brittany, while we're talking to you, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you and Amber both do? I will hear Amber also add into what you guys do for us here at Canopy. I gave kind of a general description, but tell us what a day in your life looks like at Canopy.
Well, generally speaking, you either have a child either from 8 to 12, or some come a little later in the day, some come at 9, some come at 10. And then at 12 o'clock, when everybody, the staff goes on their lunch break, we have nap. And then, of course, we come back at 1 o'clock, and then you have the client from 1 to 3. Some clients leave at 3, and then some are here until 5 o'clock. And so a normal day will look like I'll go pick up a child from the waiting room, of course, and then we'll bring them into the clinic, kind of get them acclimated, really do some great time in so that we're really preparing ourselves as a, what they call, reinforcer. And so that when we're running programs, things go, hypothetically speaking, smoothly. So.
Oh, okay. Usually around like 11:30, 11:40, after we've ran our programs and we have our kiddos around that time, we'll feed them lunch, and then we have them a little break since they work so hard throughout the rest of the morning. And then we also make sure that, we do change their diapers, and we'll make sure that they're all nice and clean, and we feed them and we love on them, and it's just a great time. I love loving on the children.
And another thing, like during our session when we're taking our breaks, we really like to get some of the kids to really interact with each other, because they need that. They're kids, we started as young as 2 years old, and so they really need that interaction and fun time. Like we were having like a bubble party in the day the other day, like we were just blowing the bubbles around, like bubble,
playing music, everyone's dancing and jumping around,
interacting. It's just really a great time.
Well, so you guys mentioned break just a minute ago, but the truth is, you guys really don't ever get a break unless you're on lunch, right?
Yes, we're always engaging with the kids, and even doing something we call NET, or naturalistic training. And so if we're just like walking around taking a break and we see somebody, I'll be like, "Oh, hi, wave at Miss Amber." And then they'll wave, and then we're like, "Yeah, you waved!" So, you know what I mean? That really helps them generalize the skills that we're trying to teach them, maybe in our cubicle, but generalize it to
a more natural
setting. Yeah.
So oftentimes you guys you'll hear a misconception about ABA, that it's all at a table. Now you do spend some time at a table, but as you've already talked, tell us a little bit about the viewers out there, a little bit about some of the other areas of the clinic away from where it kind of maybe your main therapy area.
Right. We have one kiddo where we're trying to get him to generalize open door, asking for a door to open. So we'll generally take him like around the entire like office space, like around the lobby area, around the receptionist area, trying to get him to retrieve the word open off of his textbook, because he's not fully able to say it yet, but so he'll retrieve the word off and give it to you, so that way you can open the door for him. So we're not just in the clinic, we're also outside of it, just finding doors for him to open as well.
Yeah,
which will give you even more teachable moments, especially you come up to people and all greetings and farewells, and so you're constantly having to be looking for those teachable moments.
Yeah.
What about the playroom? How many people are going there?
Yeah, I was just about to say that one of my kids really enjoys jumping on the trampoline that we have in the playroom. So we've also moved to running some of the programs actually in the playroom. And so if he's, running his programs and it's time for his reinforcer, he just goes to the trampoline and is jumping away. And then we'll go back to our program, run some more things, and then he'll go back to jumping. And that really works for him. And so we really try to find something that's going to work for the child, because every child is different. So
right, and motivation is such a huge part and help these children reach their best potential. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about what made you want to take a job in Autism Solutions.
Well, it's my love for being around children with autism or like any other developmental special needs child started when I was like a freshman in high school, where I volunteered for Special Olympics. And I really first got into that. I was like, oh, cool, I get to be out of class for like 3 hours and just volunteer. And then I got to experience their personalities and how happy and excited they are all the time, like despite like what's going on. Like we're in a blistering heat. And I was like, I'm sweating, I'm dying, I need water. And they were like, yeah, I'm great. I'm so happy to be here. Like their energy is just what I've always fed off of. Because I was like, even when I'm feeling down, I'll see like, I'll be with one of my kiddos and I'm just like, oh, you made me so happy now. So it's just that feeling of warmth that I get from them. And I'm just like, you know, this is a great place to be. I want to be around them all the time.
Yeah, and I know for me, I pretty much always worked with children. But specifically in undergrad, in my internship, I was at an alternative school, and one of the programs were with special needs children, and some of the children did have autism. So that was really my first time engaging with children who had autism, and I just absolutely loved it. They were amazing. And so when I moved back here after I graduated and I saw the job opening, I was like, I need to get there.
So we get to sometimes see miracles happen, right? Or it seems to be miraculous, you know, when a child gives us their first words or does something that's been out of their reach for a long time. What's that big recent, of course, without mentioning any names, what's a memory that you've had already in your short time here at Canopy that you'll never forget?
Oh, my sweet little girl. She finally learned to wave. Oh, it was great. Oh, yeah. The very first time we told her to wave and she did it by herself without any prompting, all of us around her just erupted into cheers. Like, not gonna lie, I almost cried. But it was so cute. I was so happy. I was like, you know what? It's okay. We're done. We can just go play. You deserve this. You worked really hard for it. Like, we did 50 mass trials of trying to get her wave. But she finally did it on her own, and I was excited.
Brittany, what about you?
I know for me, one of my kids, one of her big reading forces is the iPad, and so she just loves the iPad. And part of one of her programs was to pause the iPad. And when I saw it, I was like, whew, it's going to be a holler. She loves that iPad. I don't know if she's going to pause it. And so we just kept working on it, and then weeks were going by, and she just would not pause that iPad. And I just remember one day I was like, okay, pause the iPad. And she did it, and I just could not. Just all the work that we had put in as a team to try to get her to learn those skills, and when she finally did it by herself independently, it was just amazing.
Oh yeah, it was amazing.
And you know, oftentimes it's you know, we're always looking for the big things like speaking or going to the bathroom by themselves, but these small things also add up, like learning to wait. You know, not always having to have the iPad and really. Being ready to learn is just really awesome. Yeah. So let's think about back to your very first day. Okay. What if you could go back now and tell yourself back on day one something, what would you tell yourself?
I think I would tell myself, be prepared for anything. And that can mean literally anything. We like everything happens, like great things, you know. But you know, they're kids get sick, things of that nature. So also not so great things. But yeah, just be prepared for anything.
You have to be really flexible in your job.
Yes, flexibility is really big. Yes.
Like just because you have a schedule in front of you doesn't mean that's going to be the same schedule that same day.
Yeah.
Now that's not just psychologically flexible. You literally have to be flexible too because you're on the floor so much playing.
Yes. That's another thing. Yes.
What about you, Amber? What would you go back and tell yourself on day one?
Day one, same thing. Just be prepared. Be flexible. Everything is always changing.
Yeah.
Don't try to get used to like just one thing.
Yeah.
It's not.
And even like with the protocols, like with the children, even those change on a weekly basis. You know, whatever can work for them.
So tell us a little bit about what it's like that you two both have different supervisors. So tell us a little bit about that relationship. What's it like to work for a BCBA and what have you learned so far?
My BCBA is very interesting. I love her to death. I think she's my favorite supervisor I've ever had, to be honest with you. It's gotten to the point where she actually made me want to go back to school, to grad school, to be a BCBA.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
My supervisor, she's very hands-on. Like, she likes to like make sure that she's present. If you have any questions about anything new that she's changed, like I said, things are always changing, and so anything new that's changed, she always likes to make sure you have a good understanding of what it is and what you're doing. So she really makes you feel like you can talk to her if you have any questions about anything. She makes you feel comfortable. Mm-hmm.
Okay, what's your favorite thing about your job?
I think mine is just the interaction with the kids, because I mean it all goes back to that relationship. Relationships really matters. That's one of our core values here at Canopy.
Oh, look at you!
And just really like the time in with the kids is just my favorite part. I just love interacting with them.
Yeah, as well as everything, like the fact that the door, like you're not sitting in a stagnant place here. You're giving your very best. You're having relationships that matter. You're making sure everybody's voice is heard. But it makes me excited to come here because I know that I'm not going to be bored.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that kind of reminds me, I don't know if, because you guys came into the clinic after Dr. Furlow had taken over operations in the clinic, and I had stepped more into what I was really hired to do. So you've not heard me give my spiel, but what would you say if we had a rule here at Autism Solutions? It's like, you have to do this or you just can't work here. What would you think it is? Don't overthink it either.
Hold on.
What would I think?
You just kind of alluded to it, that your day is not boring. So that means we have to
keep it interesting. You have to.
What's the second step of our 7 steps? Have fun.
Oh yeah.
And that's just not with our kids, that's with one another, right?
Right.
Because
Yeah.
it's a very high pressure situation. I mean, you've got, these real, like you said, constantly changing. You don't know what you're going to get when our little kiddo's getting off the elevator some days.
Right.
They may go in a very different direction than you planned, and you may have to lean on your team real heavily.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got, if we don't have fun, good gracious.
Yeah, and that's another thing that you see about the team. All these behavior technicians, we're really all can really count on one another. Like, I know me personally, I always need something. There's always something I need, like, or something's happening. I'm like, oh, I need this, and like, there's always somebody there ready to help me or ready to get whatever I need to make my session run smoother. So we're really all just like a big family. Like, everybody's really supportive, and I genuinely mean that. And so,
as well as if you walk in and they can sense that your vibe is off or you're not feeling that well, and it's like, oh, are you okay? Someone's always asking if you're okay. Someone's always trying to see if you're healthy mentally and physically. And just sometimes they'll just sit, like if they're not like with a client, they'll sit with you just to so that way you have some company.
Yeah.
So
and have the support.
Yeah, it's such an awesome team because I remember it's been I think back right before the summer started, I had to come over and fill in because we were short staffed, and the staff there prepared as I literally walked in. It was like I walked in and my car was already started and ready to go. Because they had prepared as much as they could prepare for me to be successful, and it was really awesome. Because it can be even more frustrating to feel like you're not ready to go. What am I even doing today? So now, if somebody's out there right now watching and they're thinking, I see a job opening here at Canopy with autism. Why, if you could only tell them one reason they should come and work for us, what would you tell them?
One reason.
Just one? Okay.
I think
There's a lot.
I'm trying to think of a good main point. Somebody that would come work here.
Is a job that'll make you happy, like a job you never had.
It's really rewarding, but I'll also
rewarding.
say this is probably, like I said, back to relationships matter. Everyone is very supportive, so you never feel like you're just thrown out to the wolves, or like you don't have you don't know what's going on, there's always somebody there making sure, like, even if it's not your direct supervisor, anybody that can help you out, they will. So and that support really matters because burnout is real in any field.
Yeah.
And so having the support there, it really helps.
So would you say, kind of as a secondary question, compared to, because you guys have been with us, what, about 3 or 4 months now?
Yes, it's March. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so is there any way for you to even kind of quantify how much you've learned since March?
No. I've learned so much because I remember when we first started, it was just seeing, the way everything is run, just even the purpose of the table. It was kind of overwhelming at first. It was like, whoa, this is a lot. But now it's like second nature, right? Yeah, and so much, literally everything.
You're continuously learning. Like, you're gonna ask questions every day. Like, this isn't a job where you can sit there and just like, okay, I think I understand. No, you're gonna want to ask questions because you're gonna want to learn more. It's never. It's like you're going to be hungry. You're going to be hungry for it every day, just because it's so much. Especially if you love knowledge, you're always
learning something new.
Would you say that now, of course, in this type of service delivery, it's the BCBA who makes all of the treatment decisions. That's by law and by our ethical code.
Yep.
But of course, you guys spend more time with your clients than the BCBA does. Do you feel that you have a voice in what happens when especially when maybe a child's not progressing? You talked about a child needing multiple trial blocks to get waiving. Do you feel like you're an active participant in that process?
Yes.
Yeah, I would say and also with because like you said, we are with the children most of the time, and so I know my supervisor, she's really active, like asking me like how things were going, like certain things about the session, because we're the ones who are with them, and so I feel like the supervisors here, they really, and the BCBAs really want to know what's going on so they can do what's best for the child.
And even my supervisor is really open to us coming to her and stating, hey, if you don't think this is working right, can we try this? And she's always quick to say, like, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, they're open to new ideas.
Yeah, they're not the type of people who just say, no, I said do this. They're always looking for feedback, as well as we are too.
They love feedback.
So it sounds like there's just kind of this continual feedback loop in our clinic. And so if you're struggling, it doesn't sound like that's going to fester very long.
No, it's not. No, they're like,
we kind of need to.
Well, that's important because, in an earlier point in my career, I do a lot of interacting with teachers, and brand new teachers often were desperate to have help because this is their first experience, and they would sometimes feel like they were on an island. And if it's hard for folks to picture because they can't see our clinic, but even the way our clinic is set up is meant for us to kind of all be there together so that we're constantly there supporting one another. So it sounds like that, we also have another rule. I don't know if you guys still talk about it or not. It's like, don't leave mad. It's like if you're frustrated about something related to your job, you don't need to let that day end without voicing that. And so we really try to having an open culture where we can talk about those things openly.
Dr. Furlow really.
What was it like training for your job? Tell us a little bit about how you were trained.
Okay, so first we had a computer training that goes along with the certification test that we had to take, and so that really helped us with the certification process. But also we were in the sessions either with a lead behavior technician or a BCBA, really watching them and learning directly of how things are run and how to run certain things and what to do in certain situations. Of course, you can't learn everything, and things are going to come up. But I feel like that part was the most beneficial for me, was actually the hands-on shadow training,
as well as, in fact, with our group, we had 5 of us, so we were able to lean on each other and be like, hey, are you understanding this? Yeah, I'm understanding that. And everyone is continuously teaching you and continuously asking your questions. And no one gets upset when you're asking 50,000 questions at one time. It's like, oh, I'm sorry. And I was like, no, it was good to ask questions.
Yeah. Everybody's always really eager to help you out and help you understand anything. So that was one thing I really liked.
That was great. I loved it.
Yeah.
Well, excellent. So that's really important, as we're in a stage of active growth. So now, after this next orientation, you guys, I guess you're not already the new kids on the block, because we've brought in another behavior technology. And now, just to let Facebook world know, we're going to be opening up services at our 1900 building, which is closer to downtown Jackson. But you guys will have an active role in training this new team, because they'll start their training right there at the Center of Excellence.
Yeah.
Hey.
Is that even, can you even imagine? It's like, it probably seems like yesterday that you were trying to learn all this stuff, and now we're going to be leaning on you to help train.
Yeah, it does.
I was like, oh, okay then.
Yeah, but I'm excited. I'm ready to be like a helping hand, like everybody was sitting. I'm ready to be that person to somebody else. So I'm excited for it.
I'm just excited for more people to join.
Yeah.
Well, it's exciting to see that we're now at a place where we can touch more families and help more folks, and it's just really, and to bring on awesome team members like you guys, to hear that now, because of this experience, you might even be considering a career in behavior analysis in a state that desperately needs as many as we can get. We think we have 11,000 individuals with autism here in Mississippi, and we have less than 70 licensed behavior analysts, and a lot of those live outside of the state. So it's just really, we take it as a privilege to have folks like you on, and you guys are two of a cohort of, what did you guys come in with, 6 or 5 total from your group?
Yeah.
And I just love the energy you guys have brought to the clinic, and kind of the friendly competition. We even saw it earlier with you guys kind of competing in a friendly way about who could talk about the core values more. So talk about that. In just our last couple of minutes, and a lot of mission-driven agencies will have things like core values or mission statements or things like that, and they're really sometimes nothing more than just some words on a wall. How do you feel about the 4 core values of Canopy and how they drive Autism Solutions? Can you see that, or are we kind of out there winging it somewhere away from our core values?
No, every other Monday we have a staff meeting, and we always start out with mission moments from the past couple of weeks.
And then we share, about how, like, what are the core values and how that we saw that taking place in the clinic, either with somebody else or with the child or with the parents, and so I feel like that's a great way to start the week. I love when we do the mission.
I do too. They're always either really funny or like really heartwarming, and it's something I look forward to hearing about.
Yeah. And then one of the core values about taking joy in service, you can really see that. I can honestly say that with all our behavior technicians, we all absolutely love working with the kids that we work with. You can see that every day.
Yeah, and we're always listening to what our parents have to say about their voices, their parents' voices, our voices, the children's voices. They're always being heard. Their needs are always being met. They're always listening. We're always listening. We're always involving.
That's what I love.
So one of our core values is our families and our communities deserve our very best. And one of the ways we look at that is constantly measuring how well you guys implement your job. And if you hear that on the outside, it might be like, oh my gosh, they're always watching me. Does it feel that way? Or tell me a little bit about, because you might be seen by your supervisor every single day and get feedback throughout the day.
Mm-hmm. I know at first it was a little nerve-wracking, only because it's like, oh, it's like, not because I felt like they were watching in a, what's the word? Like they're trying to, in a judging manner. Yes. But, it's just a little nervous, like, oh, this person is watching me. Like, everybody feels that way, I feel like. But now I actually enjoy it when my supervisor comes to my session, because if I'm not running a certain thing right, I want to know that, because at the end of the day, we're here for the child. We want what's best for them. So if something has been run right, I know that we do integrity checks a lot. So we want to keep the integrity level high. And so if I'm not doing something right, or a team members are doing something right, we want to know that. So I actually like it.
Well, and for those who might not know what we're even talking about out there, when we hear the word integrity check, that means how accurately are you actually using the protocol that was written for that individual child. And I remember, this is a funny story, when we first started, that I was doing a lot of that, and I had a behavior technician. And as you guys know, we shoot for 90% or better accuracy, which, and this technician was getting around 82% and I was trying to coach her and give her feedback. And I remember she said, 82% isn't that good enough? And I just said, well, unless you're a brain surgeon, and we really take that our families in our community deserve our very best. ABA has been shown to be the gold standard treatment for autism, especially in early intervention, but it only works if you work it. And so and it's good to hear that we've, that can be an intimidating thing when you're but I think also, would you guys agree, it feels good leaving at the end of the day, knowing not only have you worked hard, but you've been optimally successful.
Right.
Yeah.
That you've been supported so that your full potential can come out as a behavior technician.
Right.
I love it.
Well, any last words you want to share with the Facebook world out here?
Well, if you're interested in ABA therapy or working with children with autism, this is a great place to start. It's a great place to be for your career in general. And I'm looking forward to meeting more people and working with more children.
Yes, come and join us. It's not as scary as it sounds.
Never boring.
Never boring.
All right. Well, thank you guys. Go enjoy your lunch. Thank you so much. And thank you so much. I thank you on behalf of our families for the work that you guys put in every single day to transform lives. Thanks for taking your lunch out to talk with us a little bit.
Thank you.